Man shot dead in Hatfield, Manchester. A man was shot dead in his car at the entrance of the community of Hatfield in Manchester on Sunday. He has been identified by the police and relatives as 47-year-old Neville Baker. Preliminary reports are that about 10 a.m., a gunman attacked Baker while he was seated inside his car and opened fire. Baker was subsequently seen slumped over the driver's seat of his Honda motor vehicle. A police source said Baker has had several run-ins with the law and served prison time for firearm offenses. Last year, he was among 3 men arrested and charged with larceny of agricultural produce. 2 weeks prior to his arrest, his son was charged with predatory larceny offenses. 3 shot, 1 fatally in Linstead. The police in St. Catherine are searching for a gunman who shot 3 men, 1 fatally, on Peck Street in Linstead on Saturday. The deceased has been identified as 42-year-old laborer Jason Martin of Rossipene and Time and Patient District in the parish. The injured are 57-year-old Mason and a 46-year-old of a Bagwalk address. Reports are that about 4 a.m., the 3 men were sitting along Peck Street, also called Back Road, in the vicinity of Calvin's Plaza, when they were pounced upon by a man who brandished a handgun and fired, hitting all 3. Martin, who was shot in the head, died at the Linstead Hospital. The other victims were admitted for their injuries. The police have not established a motive for the incident. The Linstead Criminal Investigations Branch is probing the matter. Westmoreland taxi operator charged for chopping death of jerk vendor. The police in Westmoreland have charged the taxi operator who fatally chopped popular jerk vendor Rodway Powell, otherwise called Jerky, who was a passenger in his camp during a dispute. Shadwayne Ellis, 36, of Geneva District, Grange Hill, Westmoreland, was charged with murder on Saturday. His court date is being finalized. Reports from the police are that about 3 p.m. on Wednesday, February 26, Ellis and Powell got into an argument that became physical. It is reported that the dispute was over fare. It is alleged that Powell held onto the keys of Ellis' taxi. In an attempt to retrieve the keys, Ellis pulled a machete from the back of the vehicle, which he used to inflict multiple chop wounds to Powell's body. This is before escaping in the air on foot. The police were summoned, and on their arrival, Powell was seen on the ground in blood with chop wounds to his upper body. He was assisted to hospital where he succumbed while undergoing treatment. Ellis was taken into police custody and subsequently charged on Saturday, March 1, following a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. Truck drivers urged to use the nation's roadways with caution. Truck drivers are being urged to use the nation's roadways with caution. The appeal from head of the Jamaica Constabulary Force Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, Assistant Commissioner of Police Dr. Gary Mackenzie, follows several crashes involving trucks recently. On Friday, February 21, Domoy Wright, a 25-year-old from Alberton, Trelawney, died after a truck overturned on a vehicle he was driving in the community. A day earlier, 3 trucks collided along the Spur Tree Main Road in Manchester. A cesspool truck was also involved in a collision along Maxfield Avenue in St. Andrew after a Honda motor vehicle crashed into it and 3 other vehicles. Speaking with reporters, ACP Dr. Mackenzie said truck drivers must focus at all times. He said drivers of smaller vehicles must also exercise great care when traveling near trucks.
Truck drivers need to be aware that the size of these vehicles are as such that they have to ensure that they travel properly in the lanes that they are traveling and that they alert other motorists, especially when they are making corners, some of which are blind corners. We will have a lot of trucks moving on our roadways because that is one of the means by which goods are actually moving across the country. And so the necessity of trucks moving around all through the day and the night will always be happening. But it is very important that the truck drivers themselves are properly focused and aware of what they are doing. It is very important that the level of alertness is exercised when persons are attempting to pass trucks or they are overtaking trucks. And at the same time, other motorists need to understand that in some instances, the drivers are high up, not able to see every single thing around them.
Transport Group welcomes government plan to establish state-of-the-art transport center in Portmore. The Transport Operations Development Sustainable Services Stance has welcomed plans to establish a state-of-the-art transportation center in Portmore, St. Catherine. Transport Minister Darrell Valls, while on tour of Portmore on Friday, said a proposal to put a variation in the contract for the Resilience Park to facilitate expected work on the center on a phased basis was accepted. TOTS President Egdon Newman, in welcoming the announcement, said taxi operators have long called for the establishment of transport centers in Portmore and Spanish Town, noting that there could be a change in administration following the general election due by September. Mr. Newman said the result should not affect plans for the creation of the center.
The establishment of a state-of-the-art public transportation center in Portmore is a welcome news. We have been, for years, close to a decade, asking for such a facility to be established in Portmore and Spanish Town. We are one step closer to that being done, and hopefully it can be done in the shortest possible time. While I understand that this is a time for grand announcement, it was Thursday that I was asking or reminding the government of such a need. And hearing the announcement on Friday, then it's like a glass of good wine. So it's important that we recognize this announcement and will work with the minister and the government to ensure that this is done. I want to also make the point that if there should be any change of administration, the process of this announcement should continue. And we will ensure that it is continued. Not continuing an announcement like this would spell doom for the public transport sector. And we are already close to that. In the same breath, I want to remind the government and the Minister of Transport and Finance that we are awaiting another announcement. And that announcement is when will we be getting the 16% fare increase that was promised to us. So again, I want to thank the Minister and the government for this announcement for Portmore, the largest community in the Western Hemisphere. It will do good for the thousands upon thousands of motorists who traverse that community, and of course, over 3,000 public passenger vehicles.
Michael Phillips laments lack of national plan to address parking issues in town centers. Opposition spokesperson on transport Michael Phillips has criticized the Ministry of Transport and the Transport Authority for their lack of a national plan to address parking issues in town centers across the island. According to Phillips, this has contributed to severe congestion, particularly in areas like Papine Square in St. Andrew, where taxi operators and commuters struggle with inadequate parking facilities. Phillips' comment come on the matter last Friday while touring the Papine Square at the invitation of the People's National Party PNP candidate for St. Andrew Eastern, Patricia Duncan Sutherland. During the tour, he observed firsthand the congestion affecting transportation in the area. The issue of parking is the main issue, which causes just a general congestion in the town centers, Phillips noted, adding that despite the continued issuance of taxi license, there has been no coordinated effort to create designated parking spaces for operators. Phillips also questioned the government's broader approach to transportation, highlighting the expansion of the Jamaica Urban Transit Company JUTC routes into rural areas and the lack of a clear national plan for the integration of various modes of transportation. He pointed out that while licenses are being granted for JUTC routes, the lack of proper parking space prevents them from their full implementation. As a temporary measure to ease congestion in Papine, Phillips suggests utilizing the lay-by behind the JUTC bus stop for taxi operators to pick up and drop off passengers. Also, better management of Market Road area, where space could be optimized to accommodate both vendors and transport operators. While acknowledging that medium and long-term solutions would require collaboration with the municipal corporations and the National Works Agency NWA, Phillips stressed the immediate need for better parking solutions. He also criticized the Transport Authority and the police for issuing tickets to operators forced to park illegally due to the absence of designated parking areas. The Transport Authority would not have provided enough parking, but yet still, between the Transport Authority and the police, operators are being ticketed for parking on the streets, he noted. Philip emphasizes that while the PNP does not yet have all the answers, the party was engaging with transportation stakeholders to develop solutions for when it returns to government. Remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.